Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farisha Zulaika binti Muhammad Fauzi. So in this video, I will be presenting about chapter 1, which is the introduction for our research. So our research is about the comparative study between online learning and physical class in students' perspective, and we use qualitative method for our research. It all started with the COVID-19 outbreak, and since then, everything in our daily life has changed, including on how we learn in college. So the purpose for this research is that we want to find out what kind of learning approach that the students prefer after nearly 2 years of pandemic. Either they choose to continue with the online learning, or they want to return to the traditional way of learning, which is physical class. This is important to know because a student's success is determined by how they learn. This study focuses on Unique MyTech student, where there will be 3 students who are gonna ask 14 questions about our research during the interview. We use the method of responding question to get the information for our research. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nomrada binti Mazlan and I'm going to continue this presentation with chapter 2, which is literature review. In this chapter, we will be discussing about the significance of online learning versus physical learning. This chapter will not only focus on the researcher's perspective, but also supplementing it with the previous reliable research and also studies that have been conducted. The first topic under literature review is the emergence of online learning. How did it begin? It all started with the killing virus COVID-19 that all the students around the world are switching to online learning. As researcher, early 2021 conducted a survey with 424 universities from around the world, which revealed that the COVID-19 pandemic has had an impact on education and online learning is becoming more popular. The next topic under chapter 2 is the qualities between online learning and physical class. Both learning methods are different. The traditional one versus the online learning have their own qualities that might not be favorable to everyone, but both methods strive for the same goals, which is to transmit information and ideas. Despite the different qualities of the two learning methods, students are still required to go to class and educators are still required to achieve maximum instructional quality. Moving on to the next point, which is which one is more effective. Despite both learning methods having their pros and cons, which one is more effective? Previous study from 2016 stated that classroom instruction is highly dynamic. Meanwhile, Salcedo 2010 stated that because students must limit their questions to blurbs and then giving the teacher and fellow classmates time to respond, online instruction dampens the learning process. The next point is how students and educators perceive the change towards online learning. When the attitudes of educators and students towards online learning were compared, it was unearthed that educators had opposing points of view on the distance education. The last topic that will be covered in this chapter is the students' performance in terms of examination. In terms of examinations, it was revealed in the interview that they prefer online class because they said it was easy to refer to study materials during quizzes, tests, and examinations since it is mostly open book types of examinations. And in addition, students reported that online classes are up to 4 times more likely to cheat than traditional classes. In conclusion, researchers have discovered all key facets of comparative analysis on how student copes with online learning versus traditional learning through various previous studies and websites.
Assalamualaikum, hello, my name is Hazi Alif bin Muhammad Kiro Amin. Today I will explain chapter 3, which is research methodology. Research methodology is a process which data are collected to generate the final result. For doing a research paper, it's very important to have a quality methodology with expect accuracy and a timely manner. So in this chapter, the researcher is investigating the comparative study between online learning and physical class from a student perspective. In this chapter, the researcher used the qualitative data collection method in which interview unique MyTech student to collect the data information and obtain the accurate opinion. So the respondent is from the first year undergrad from different courses such as BIL, BPOS and DQA. The interview is the two-way communication where in opinion and information are exchanged. In this interview, 14 questions were prepared and 3 responded to part. In this research, the instrument is divided into 2 segments, which is primary and secondary data. The primary data is a combination of raw data collected at the source such as interview, transcript, while secondary data is from previous research that has been supported sources such as books and journal article. In the interview, we create the question based on the objective of the researcher one.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Physically Muhammad Nazri. I'll be presenting chapter 4, which is result and findings. The main purpose for our study is to study the difference between studying via online and physical class based on a student's perspective. There are several pleasing and pessimistic experiences faced by the students and being recorded in the results and findings. I'll be sharing about the positive experience and elements that contributed. The first one is convenient access to educational materials. The students can surf the websites and also open the virtual library that is provided by the campus to do research that are related to their studies and help in their assignments. Next, by going online, the students can develop study habits, which is because there are no ones by our side to help us in study. So the students need to be more independent and do more research by themselves in order for them to gain more knowledge. And third point, which is cost effectiveness. We know students use a lot of money. So by going online, they can save up a lot of money, such as printing assignments, money for foods and drinks, and also fuel money to go back and forth to the campus. Fourth point is adaptability to changes. There are students who study through hearing and visually. So yeah, different students have different approach to the studies. Same also for extroverted and introverted students. Introverted students find that going for online classes is advantage for them because they can avoid being in a crowd that makes them feel uncomfortable. So the last point is accessibility. The students which goes for online class have high accessibility as they can go to the class anywhere, anytime, and for example they have bad or poor internet connection, they can look back at the recorded lecture, so this will make them did not miss the content of their class today. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aiman Farhan bin Khairul Anwar, and today I will present the negative experience and contributing factors. For the first point is isolation may result from online learning. Because of the absence of social connection, online school can lead to social isolation among students and lecturers. The lack of human interaction in online learning might lead to increased stress and anxiety. Furthermore, online learning might prevent students from developing crucial communication skills. As seen by these consequences, being unable to engage with other students and professors during online education can have major negative consequences. The second one is inability to concentrate on screens. One of the most difficult aspects of online learning for many students is the inability to focus on a screen for extended periods of time. With online learning, students are more likely to be quickly sidetracked by social media or other sites. As a result, it is critical for lecturers to make their online lesson concise, engaging and interactive in order to keep students focused on the subject. For the third point is online learning necessitates a high level of self-motivation and time management abilities. One of the most common causes for students failing to complete online course is lack of self-motivation. There are various aspects in typical classroom that continually drive students toward their learning objective. However, there are fewer extrinsic pressure that motivate students to do well in an online learning environment. In many circumstances, students are left to fend for themselves during learning activities, with no one continually encouraging them to achieve their learning objective. For the fourth point is lacking direct communication. A lack of face-to-face connection with the lecturer restricts student input, increase social isolation, and may lead to students feeling under pressure. A lack of pressure is a negative since it leads to students abandoning their studies more quickly. For the last one is technology issues. There may be a loss of consistency in learning for the student if students or lecturers do not have a regular internet connection. This is harmful to the educational process. Many students may not have access to the high bandwidth or robust internet connection required for online courses and consequently fall behind their virtual classmates. Lastly, for the conclusion, Chapter 4 discusses findings and discussion based on research conducted by researchers, where the results and findings are obtained by interviewing respondents. The goal of this study was to learn about students' attitude on online learning. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ahmad Irfan bin Azhar Sharif. So now I will share some recommendation that can help students to be more successful in dealing with online learning situation. First is motivation. As a student, motivation is a very important element so that student mental and physical are always motivated and energetic. This is important because it can ensure that students are always committed in completing assignment and attending online class. Students need to make sure that each task can be complete in the allotted time so that marks are not reduced and it can guarantee student success. Students need to have a big why so that can stay motivated and not discouraged. Besides that, the unpredictable early morning condition will increase the stress of the soul and various other mental illness. So if students have any problem, avoid harboring feeling and should share the problem with people that they trust. You also need to have a friend who are always encouraging you. Bring yourself closer to the positive thing. And for people who are Muslim, make sure you maintain a relationship with Allah and do all His command and live His high vision. Train your mind and intellect to always be positive. Second, study place preparation. Students need to provide a more conducive learning environment. So students need to choose a place that is comfortable, safe and not easily disturbed. Learning online require high-speed internet. Therefore, students should be wise to find an easily accessible internet area so that them do not miss anything about the assignment and learning given by the lecturer at the university. Make sure your study pace is not too often like a bed or a dark room because it can make you feel sleepy during class. Students also need to make sure that all the tools to study are adequate such as stationery, laptop battery charger and so on. And the last one is get enough rest. To keep your concentration constant, students need to make sure that themselves have adequate rest. Make sure you get enough sleep in 6 to 7 hours a day as it can have a huge impact on student learning performance. It can also improve memory and thinking more effectively in acquiring knowledge. Also, if students have reviewing a lesson, make sure that take a break in 5 or 10 minutes and avoid using the phone during your break. This is because the use of the phone causes your brain and eyes to become tired, causing your concentration and focus to weaken. Do light activities such as light exercise so that you get back active and stay momentum while studying online. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Imran Fibi Abdurrahman. So, in this last chapter, we will summarize that all information that we gain from interview that come from the various university in Malaysia. During the COVID-19 pandemic, both teacher and student were forced to adapt to changing social condition and move to online education. So based on the chapter 4, the factor that contribute to student challenge experience while study online were limited access to facility, less contact with friend and teacher, stress level increase, anxiety, loneliness and depression, and interruption of personal space. This is the challenge that students face while study online. Due to that fact, that will lead to the disturbing mental health to students and give a negative impact to them. So to summarize, that face-to-face interaction cannot be included from the education process. At the same time, there is no that advantage of e-learning such as accessibility, convenience, time saving. So both of student and lecturer must face the advantage and disadvantage of e-learning. In addition, based on the interview from students, many students prefer offline learning over online learning. According to our findings, offline learning is preferred by students because they can focus, be active in sport with friends, enjoy themselves during the session by better understanding in the topic and communication more freely. Online learning was not successful due to variety of challenges. So that's all from me and my friends. So that's all. Thank you.